hide graphics inside of there. You can hide text inside of there. And so the person has to click on that item to expand it so that they can see what's hiding inside of that box. And you can put multiple items on there. So you open a box and you open a box and you open a box. So great for menus if you're creating a course, all kinds of neat stuff. So we're continually adding those things into Cheetah so that about the time that you're comfortable with what's on the list of what's available, guess what? We're going to add to it and you get to learn something new that you can add to the website. So, really, really cool stuff. But today we're going to focus on building a website from scratch. So, I'm going to start from a blank website and we're going to build a really, really simple website. And we're going to create a couple of buttons. We might have time to do a pop up. But one really important thing we're going to do is make sure that we set up an opt-in form so that we can connect to Mailing Boss. Okay. So that's the big thing that we're going to do today. So you can learn how to take advantage of that autoresponder that you have so that when you set up your account in Builderall, you can start getting subscribers to an email list. So why are subscribers important? Why do we even worry about getting subscribers? Well, if I've got a business and I've got, let's say that I just have a pizza place, right? It's the weekend. We all eat pizza. We don't want to cook. So I own this pizza place. And why would I need a subscriber list for emails? Well, what if I have a special going where I want to run 15% off if you come in for pizza? Well, the only people that get to know about it are the people on Facebook, maybe, and the people that are on Instagram, if I've got an Instagram account. But if I've got an email list and I'm consistently getting my customers to sign up for my email list, I can then send out a blast to everybody on my email list that tells them, hey, you guys, on Sunday, we're going to be running 15% off for pizzas. Come on in and say hi to us, right? So it's a great way to keep a list of people that you can constantly stay in contact with, constantly market to, and constantly offer them something, some kind of offer through this email list. Okay. If you are not a business, if you're just doing this for a hobby, I know that I do paintings. It's something that I've discovered recently, and I love doing paintings. And I have a fan club already. I have people that want to buy my paintings, which completely blows my mind. So I have an email list already of people that are interested in my paintings. So when I do a new one and it's one that I want to sell, I can blast it out to my list, put a price on it, send it out, and usually within just an hour or two, it's sold and it's ready for me to ship. So that's the value. Even when I've not got a real, like a physical business, I'm just doing a little thing, kind of hobby on the side. I'm able to still monetize it with that mailing list. I don't really have a website. I don't really have a whole lot of anything for it, but I can still sell those items by using my email list. Okay. So let's go ahead and jump in and start building a website from scratch and attaching an email list so you can see how that's done. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And then I'm going to go into Builderall. And remember that we created an account under Rachel Green. So I'm going to do that today, that same account. So you guys can see that I am actually using that free account. And I'm going to go ahead and sign in. And we'll get started with Rachel Green again today, which is always really exciting. So there we go. And I think what I'm going to do today is I'm going to create a website where I am just giving away an ebook in exchange for an email. So let me look at your eyeballs before we start setting that up. So what is that called? That's called a lead magnet funnel. You guys have probably heard about funnels before. That's kind of a big buzzword right now is you need a funnel. You shouldn't have a website. You should have a funnel. Let me tell you the difference between a website and a funnel. Okay. And we're going to create a funnel today. A website is information about your company, your hobby, your passion, information about you, your family, whatever you want that website to be. But typically, the website, if you go to it, there's going to be a menu at the top. They can decide where they want to go. They can flip between pages. They can flip between different areas of the page. There's a lot of things they can do to travel all in and around your website. Okay, that's a website. When we create a funnel, what we want to happen is we don't want them to navigate a whole lot. In fact, we want to make sure we dictate where they're going to go. So a funnel is a specific path through your website. So today we're going to build a lead magnet funnel. So the path we're going to send them to is first an opt-in page. And then they have no choice. When they fill out the form on the opt-in page, they're going to be sent automatically to an email confirmation page. And that page is going to say, you got one more step to go, and that is to check your email. And then when they check their email and they click confirm, they'll go automatically to the thank you page where they can download their ebook. That's a funnel. They have no chance of getting out of that funnel. The only exception is if I put some terms of website use and some disclaimer and privacy policy at the bottom. They're then able to click on those. But if you want it to be a true funnel, you can have them as just pop-ups that appear. And then when they close it, they're still on the page that you want them to be on. So a funnel is really important to understand that it's a specific path that you want your user to take so that you can, number one, get their email. That's the most important thing that you can get. The reason being is the money is in the list. If you can build a subscriber list, you're going to be able to make money. The second thing you want to do is specifically send them to something that you want to sell. And we won't do that today. We would just set up a simple lead magnet funnel. So all we're going to do is build a funnel to capture their email. But if we were building a bigger funnel, we would first capture their email and then send them to a sales page to try to get them to buy something from us. Once you do that, there's a whole bunch of types of funnels you can do. There's tripwire funnels, there's the survey funnel, the ask funnel. There's all kinds of different funnels that you can create once you really decide to go into the funnel business and build something very specific for your product or your service. So we're going to do the simplest one today, and then you can actually see some of my advanced trainings on how to do some of the more advanced funnels. So let's pretend today that we're going to give away an ebook in exchange for an email. Okay, that's what we're going to do. So let's build it from the ground up. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And here I am with the Cheetah app. So I'm going to click enter. And here I am in the site overview. This is where my site list is. And you see my ice cream shop from yesterday. But I'm going to go ahead and create a brand spanking new site for this today. So I'm going to go to the top right-hand corner and I'm going to click create site. And I'm going to call this Shelly's ebook giveaway. And then I'll just copy that and paste it into the description. And today we're going to start with a blank template. So I'm going to click blank. And now it's created my website in the unpublished area. So it's not published, it's still away from the internet. Nobody can see it but me. And I'll go ahead and click edit to start editing the website. So now I'm in the website overview. So I can see all of the different things that I can do with my website. I've got one empty page. It's got nothing on it. But always when you create a new website, it gives you one page to start with. So I'm going to go ahead and jump in and start editing that page. And then from here, I have to start putting in the information about the product that I'm going to be giving away. So let's go ahead and add a panel because right now there's nothing on this page. It's completely blank. So I'm going to click add and I'm going to go to panels. And from here, I can add a blank panel and start from scratch, or I can add something that's already created. So I've got the first fold, and here's some panels that are already there and created for me. So I could start with these that are already made. If I didn't see in there something that I wanted, I can just keep scrolling down and go to the next section, which is, this one's long. There's a lot of ones in here. But once I get to the bottom, then I've got an animated video section, business banners, blocks. You can investigate all of these pre-made panels to see which one tickles your fancy and has a design that you like, that you want to use for your webpage. I saw one that I really like that's easy to use, and I think that's this one right here. So I'm going to click on it, and that adds that panel in with all of the elements already there. So I don't have to do a whole lot of editing to this. Now, one thing that I do like to do is add a bit of color on the top, just because I really like my colors to be consistent throughout the entire website. So probably what I would do with this one is go to add panel and blank panel. And when I click that, remember it always puts the new panels at the bottom. So it added it down here at the bottom, and I actually want it on the top to be like a header. So I'm just going to click this up arrow and move it to the top. So now it's sitting at the top of my website, and I'm just going to make it smaller. So I'm going to click size over at the right hand side and make it smaller. And I'll probably go with a 50, I think, maybe. See if we can make that smaller for us. So go down to 50. And you can see that it doesn't look that small. So if I look at the minimum size says 200. So I want to make that smaller, maybe around a 50. And then it's made this really, really small. So it's a great color bar to start to establish our colors. So right here, we've got a blue in the title, in the amazing title text. We've got a blue in the button and a blue in the form. So I guess I'm going to go with the blue to put at the top. So I'm going to click on this button and I'll go to background, and there's that color of blue. So I'm going to click on it, and then the number is right here. So I'm going to capture that number and copy it. And the color is actually in this color grid as well. See it right there? So I can either copy that color, or if it's in the color grid, I can use that color. Now I'm going to go back to this panel, the short panel, and I'm going to change the color, the background color, to that color of blue. And so now I've got some consistency on the color design throughout that website. That is totally up to you. But for me, I like creating a good consistency of color all the way through. So I would probably put a header of some kind of color there. And then this window is not very big, so it's not going to take up the whole first fold. So what I'd probably do is add a similar banner or panel at the bottom. And to do that, all I have to do is click clone, which is basically copy, and it throws it to the end of the panels. So now I've got some color at the top and some color at the bottom. And I've done a couple of things already, so I'm going to click save, and then that's fine. And so that saves all of my changes, and I'm going to click I am satisfied. So now I've really started editing my website already, and you can see that I've only done a few things, and I've actually got quite a bit of stuff on my website. So it's kind of exciting, right? So now let's start figuring out what we want to put on this website. So I'm going to start changing the text. So all I do is double click in the text box and then click one more time where I want the cursor to go. And then I can start changing this text. And I can say, you need this book because it will change your life. There we go. And then I'll just make it a little bit wider by clicking outside of it and then clicking it again to get the box. So I can click and drag that little circle right there to make it wider. So all of that text can be on one line. And now I'm going to change this text right here. Remember, I can change the size if I want to. I can change the font style if I want to. These are all pretty well made in advance to all match though. So I don't really change a whole lot of the pre-made funnels in design. I usually really like the design of it. So let's see, get this book today. There we go. And there we go. Stretch it a little bit so it's all on one line. And now we're going to put the title of the book, Shelley's Amazing Book. There we go. And then I can move this down a little bit, and then this little dash line down a little bit. And now we've got an amazing, I haven't even really done a whole lot with it. And it actually still looks really amazing. So I've done a few other things. So I'm going to make sure I click save. And then that's fine. And then on the button, let's say that we'll change this. So I'm going to click on the button to get my little toolbar. And then I'm going to go down to where it says headline. When I click headline, that lets me change the wording on the headline. So where it says see more, maybe I'll say get it free today. And you know what? I don't think I want the button because I have the form right here. So I'm going to take the button out because that's probably going to be confusing. So there we go. So let's go ahead and add, let's add something in there, maybe an image. So let's add an image of me, my little cartoon image. So I'm going to go to add, I'm going to go to elements, and I'm going to look through all these elements until I find image. So there's the image. And I'm going to click and drag this image over. Here we go. And then I'm going to click on the image, go to general settings, and click change image. When I do that, it's going to pull up the digital file repository for me. I don't have any files in there. So I'm going to go to select file, and I'm going to choose a file from my computer. So I'm going to go into graphics and Build Raw Diva, and we're going to find an image of the Build Raw Diva. So right there, that adds it to the digital file repository. And now I can click to activate it and click save. And it's added it in there, but it's pretty big. So I'm going to have to resize it to what I want it to be. There we go. Just like that. And just like that. We'll line it up a little bit. And if you'll notice, I can't see the image of the bottom of the image where it says Builder All Diva. I can't see that very well. So there's a couple things that I can do to kind of fix that problem. The first one would be just to change the background, but I actually really like that background. I'm not going to change it. So I can do a box to put that image in and then kind of change the color of the box. So I'm going to go to add and elements, and I'm going to go to box, and I'm just going to pull a box in there. Now this box looks terrible right now, of course, but I'm going to go ahead and change some of the settings. So I'm going to go to background, and I'm going to change the solid color. Instead of to a gray color, I'm going to make it more of a white color. So I'm going to click and drag it to white. So there we go. And so it has a white color. I'm going to change the size a little bit. And then I'll take my image and drop it onto the box. And I want you to notice when I drop it onto the box is outlined. That means that when I drop this image, it's going to be inside the box now instead of on the panel. So when I drop it, it goes inside there. It's not a part of the box. And I'll kind of move this around a little bit to get it kind of in there. And then I'll move that to get the right size. And now we've got a situation where we can see very easily what is said in the image. But that solid white is, and it's just not working for me. So if I click on the box and activate the box, and then I go back to coloring, we changed it to white, but I'm going to change it to transparent as well. And I'll just keep going with the transparent until it's right at the point where it's too much. So let's see, we can go here. We'll give it a little bit more. There we go. And even that, it's still like a gray color. If I put it under there, it's still kind of iffy if we like that. So maybe I can change it to the color of the box to a gray and transparent. So there, that almost works right there. So you can see the Builder All Diva. So once I got that in there, now I've got some design that I can do with the box. So this is a round image, but it's a very square box. So if I click on the box again, I can go to rounded border, and let's see if we can make it maybe a 20 on the corners to see if that looks better. Let me try that again. So we'll go 20, 20, 20, 20. There we go. And you see now that that looks just a little bit better. It's working with that image a little bit better. So now it's not so far different from the background, and it's not so far different from the design of the circle. So you can see that you've got a little bit of playing room to actually kind of play with the image, putting it inside of a box and making it kind of work with the background that you've got going on. Okay. So I'm going to look at your eyeballs and make sure that you guys are understanding so far. So everything good so far? That taking a box and putting it over an image, that is such a neat tool that you can use. Let's say that you've got a picture that is like really bright yellows, but your website has got no yellow in it at all. You're like, oh my gosh, I love this picture, but I don't like the yellows. What you can do is take that picture and overlay it with a color that matches your website, and then change the transparency of it. And what happens is you change that picture from yellows to other colors, other tones that can match your website. So that is a huge tool that you can use for designing your website. Okay, got it? Okay, now let's jump back in and we'll keep building and building. So we'll leave that right there. So it kind of gives a picture of the Builder All Diva. And now we'll start changing our form area. So in the form area, it says register now. So I'm just going to change that to get my copy now. And then in that little second subheadline, I'm going to say it is free for a short time. There we go. So when I put it is free for a short time, that's creating scarcity. When we do something like an opt-in form, we do want to try to create scarcity if we can. You don't want to necessarily lie and say this will never be offered again. But you do want to create a little bit of scarcity so that they decide to get that copy now in exchange for their email. Okay, then I've got the form itself right here. And then I've got a little note right here that says 100% spam free. And I'll just change the size of it a little bit and maybe make it smaller. So I'm going to go maybe a 15 instead of a 17. And then I like my my note at the bottom of forms to have italics. And then also what I want to do is put a little image there of a lock. And to do that, I just put my cursor where I want the lock to be. And then I'm going to click the little flag right here. The flag is all the different icons that we have available in our text area. So if I click that little flag, it's going to bring up all of the icons. And there's a bunch of them, right? Oh my gosh, there's lots and lots of them. So to find the one I want, I'm just going to type in lock and then hit search. And that'll find all of the little icons that match the word lock, which there's a lot of them. And I actually like this one the best. So I'm going to click on it to activate it and then click select. And it's actually put that lock in there. And then I'm going to hit the space bar one time to just put a little bit of space in between. And then I've got the lock and it says 100% spam free policy. So I like the look of the lock. That helps kind of solidify the message that we're not going to spam them and we're not going to drive them crazy with a bunch of emails. Okay. So we've got a bunch of things that we changed. So let's click save. And then we'll click that's fine. And so far, so good. And before we jump into the opt-in form, I'm going to go down here to the bottom. And I'm going to go ahead and set up just some information about my company, copyright, and stuff like that. So I'm just going to add some text in there. So I'm going to click it first to make it just a little bit bigger, like that. So now it's really big. And now I can add some elements in there. So I'm going to click add and I'll go to elements and text. And I'm going to pick a small text, maybe that one right there. And in here, I'm going to put copyright. And then I'm going to do the symbol for copyright, which you hold the alternate button down. And while you're holding the alternate button down, you hit 0169. And that gives you the copyright symbol. So if you didn't get that, it's hold the alternate button down and at the same time hit 0169. And that will give you the copyright symbol. And then I'll put ShellyTurner.com. Perfect. So I've got my copyright symbol in there. Let me put the year as well. So I'll put 2020. And then I'm going to stretch it out so it's all on one line. That's perfect. And now I want it to be white. So I'm going to click in there and highlight all of the text. And I'm going to choose the font color and then choose white. There we go. And then I'll just line it up right here about where I want it. And I will center. Fabulous. And now I'm going to go ahead and put maybe a disclaimer on there. So I'm going to just copy this text. So all I have to do is click it and then hit the duplicate button. And so now I have an exact copy. And I'm going to say maybe disclaimer. And we'll put this underneath it. And then we'll activate that in a few minutes. And I'm going to show you how to create a disclaimer pop-up so that when they click that, it pops up to tell them earnings are according to the effort that you put into it, or whatever you want to put for your disclaimer information. Also, I want to make sure that both of these are in the center of the page. So I'm going to click on them and hit that center button, and then click on the other one and hit the center button. And now both of them are centered on that page. And now I'm going to go ahead and make it a little bit smaller again. So I'll change the size of the panel. Whoops, a little bit too small. So we'll expand it so that it looks correct. There we go. What I'm trying to do is create about as much space that I have on the top as I have on the bottom, so it looks symmetrical. And we've done quite a bit, so I'm going to click Save. And then that's fine. All right, so we have a great first page. We haven't configured the opt-in form yet, but we will. And I think we've got the beginning of a great system set up. So that's our home page. Remember that we said in this funnel, we want to have the opt-in page, which is this page. Then we want an email confirmation page to let them know that they need to check their email. And then a thank you page, which is where they actually go after they click confirm in their email. And that's where they go to get their document as well. So let's say that this one is basically done. We're going to have to come back to it in a little bit to do the opt-in form and the disclaimer. But design-wise, we'll say it's basically done. So now I'm going to create a second page, which is my email confirmation page. So I'm going to go back to Cheetah, and I can choose to either create a brand new blank page, or I can copy a page that I already have. I think I'm going to copy the home page because we did a lot of work on creating it. So I'm just going to click the little triple dots and go to duplicate. And now it creates another page for me called the home page. So I'm going to rename it. So I'm going to click the triple dots and I'm going to go to settings. And on the settings, I'm going to call this the email confirmation page. And it says initial. That means, is this going to be the home page? And it is not, so I'm going to leave it as not. Then the URL, this is the address that appears in the address bar. I'm just going to say email confirm. And then on the page title, I'm going to copy the name and put that in the page title. And then in the description, I'm going to say, please confirm your email by checking your email and clicking the confirm link. Perfect. So now that all of that's filled out, all this other stuff at the bottom is some advanced techniques, but the very top information, I like it, so I'm going to click Save. There we go. Now that one's ready to edit. So I'm going to go to Edit the Page, and you'll see that it has all of the same information that the initial first page that we had also had. So I'm going to change a few things. So the first thing I'm going to do is take out the opt-in form because I don't need it. So I'm going to click on the box and I'm going to hit delete. And then that's fine. So that's fabulous. This little bitty text right here, I don't need it. So I'm going to click delete. That's fine. Now this one I'm going to keep, and I'm going to center it, and then I'm going to type in congratulations. Oh, no, let's say almost there. And then I'm going to go ahead and make sure I center that on the page, right? And then here, I'm going to keep this one, and I'm going to say, check your email and confirm your access to the ebook. There we go. And so now I can actually drag that a little wider, and I can center it. And I'm going to move that arrow out of the way here. There we go. And center it like that. And I really like that dash, so I'm going to put that down there. I'll keep the arrow, and I'll drag this image, center it again. I'll drag the square and put it down here. Fabulous. And this one, maybe we can put right here. Almost there. So great. Almost there. Check your email and confirm your access to the ebook. We can see that this panel is not quite big enough. So we have to click on the panel and go to size and increase the size a little bit. We'll increase the size. And we'll click and drag the overall diva up just a little bit. And now the spacing is exactly what we need it to be. And they'll get that message that they need to check their email. So let's go ahead and save the changes and click that's fine. So we publish. And now that one is actually edited and ready to go. So now I'm going to go back to Cheetah. So we've got our home page. We've got our email confirmation page. Now I need one more page, and that is the thank you page that we put the actual download of the ebook. So I'm just going to copy the email confirmation page. So I'm just going to click duplicate. So the 3 dots and then duplicate. Fabulous. And here's my new page. And I'm going to click the 3 dots and go to settings. And we'll call this the thank you page and download. There we go. And address, we can just call it thank you. And then I'm just going to copy the name of it and put it into the page title. And then for the description, I'm going to say, please access and download your ebook by clicking the button on this page. Fabulous. So now we've done those settings, and I'm going to click save. And now the thank you page is ready for me to edit. So I'm going to click edit. And I'll make just a few changes to it to make sure that it reflects what page it is. So I'm going to say congratulations. And then I'll say download your ebook now. And then we'll change, let's see, this one, let's make it centered, and we'll put it right there. And instead of the diva picture, we'll put that in the trash. And we're going to create a button. So I'm going to click add, elements, and button. And we'll scroll down and pick this button because it's just as good as any. And I'm going to put that in the center. And I'm going to start changing this button to match the design of this particular website. And this kind of greenish color isn't working for me. So I'm going to go ahead and choose background. And where it says solid color, I'm going to click that color. And I'm going to change it to the color that's on the website. So it automatically changes it right there. Then there's a hover color. So what do you want the color to be when you hover over that item? So the background color for hover, I'm going to click that one. And I'm going to click that bluish color. And then I'm going to just kind of drag that little dot down a little bit to make that color just a little bit dark, just a little bit darker. So that when I go to the live website and take a look, when I hover over it, it would change to a little bit darker color. Okay. That way I know that I'm hovering over that button, or the user does. Then I need to change the text because I don't want this kind of blue text. So the hover color for the text, I want to change to just plain old white. And then when I go to the actual headline, I'm going to change the color of the headline to white. So instead of that blue, I'm going to change it to a white color, just like that. So now you can see that that button looks a lot different based on changing it to kind of match the colors of the website. Now, you know me, if you've seen any of these trainings that I do, that I love the color blue. And then the other thing that I absolutely love is rounded corners on my buttons. So I'm going to click my button to activate it. And then I'm going to find where it says rounded border. And I'm going to change this to a 20. And now my button is exactly what I want it to be. And if I scroll down, I've still got the copyright information and disclaimer at the bottom. So everything looks great. I'm going to go ahead and click save. And then that's fine. And now I've created this page exactly the way I want it to look, but I have to add the information on the button to be able to download it. And it says register now. I want it to say download now. So I'm going to click on the button again to activate the settings. Then I'll go to headline, and where it says register now, I'm going to put download now. There we go. So it's ready to go. So I click save again, just because I can. You'll find out that save is your friend. And now I want to go ahead and add the document that I want them to be able to download. So if I go on the download button, there's this mini toolbar here, and I have a little symbol that's 1, 2, 3, fourth one on the mini toolbar. If I click that, that allows me to change the settings. Let me do it again. I have to move my button down a little bit. There we go. So it says set link. So I'm going to click set link. And now I get to choose what happens with this button. So I can send them to a URL for a website. I can send them to a specific page in my website. I can work with the builder all auto tags, which is an advanced feature. I can send them to a pop-up. I can send them to an anchor point on this page or on another page. I can make them open a video. I can do a download. That's the one we'll do. I can send them to super checkout. I can open up a phone dialer. So if this was a mobile page, that would work for a mobile page. I can have site members register by clicking on this button, or I can set up some tags. I'm going to set it up for a download. That's what we're going to do for this button. So I'm going to click download. And then right here, I'm going to choose select file. And that's going to open my digital file repository, which I have nothing in it because this is a new account. And I'm going to select file. And then I'm going to find a file that I want to give away. So let me see if I can find a good PDF file. I have so many. Let's see. Builder all bonuses, beta tester, 37 inspirational quotes. Let's do that. So let's say this ebook is 37 inspirational quotes. So I'm going to click open. That's going to add it to my digital file repository. And then I'm going to click on it to activate it. And then I'm going to click save. And now I'm going to click save again. And now this button is actually not only clickable, but when they click it, it's going to download that document that I attached to that button. So I'm going to click save. And then I'm going to click that's fine. And now this page is basically ready. So I'm going to click I'm satisfied. The only thing I have to do on this page is the disclaimer pop up, and we'll do that in just a few minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and take a look at what all I've done so far. So I've created the home page. I've created the email confirmation page. I've created the thank you page. I did the opt-in form, but I haven't configured it yet. And I think I'm about ready to jump into Mailing Boss and actually start setting up my Mailing Boss stuff for my autoresponder. So I'm going to stop sharing and make sure that you guys are completely caught up with me and everything's good to go. Any questions?
Hey, Shelly, just a quick question about, you started with the template for the panel. Would you be able to take the button from that panel and create that as a personal element to duplicate it exactly instead of recreating it?
Yes, absolutely. Anything that we've done, Cindy, if it's a button, if it's a whole panel, if it's a box, anything, we can save it as a personal item and then reuse it anywhere on that website or any other website that we want to use that on. So I have standard panels that I really like the design of, including I think I mentioned yesterday, the box with the video on top of it, and that box has a shadow. I love that design because it pops out a video. So I have that saved as a personal item, so I can pull that in really fast if I want to put a video right on a page.
Okay. And then the other question I had real quick was when you do the copyright at the bottom, do
Mhm.
you always use your name or do you use the as the designer or do you use the name of the company that you're designing it for?
It depends on how you want to represent yourself, right? So if you want to put, like, I put shellyturner.com on that one. I could put my business name on it. I could put my personal name on it. I could put my website on there. So if I had builderalldiva.com, I could put that on there. So whatever I wanted to put on there, it would be fine. The most important thing that you need to do is when you put Mailing Boss together and you jump into Mailing Boss for the first time, you're going to have to do some setup for your information, your company information. And that's the default information. And in there, you're going to have to put the name of your company, the website, the physical address, and all of that information is required by something called the Can Spam Act. So that when you create your emails, you don't have to manually put that information in there. You've already entered it into Mailing Boss, so it will put that information in there for you. Okay?
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions, you guys? All right, let's keep going. So we're going to go ahead and jump into Mailing Boss now, and I'm going to show you how to set up Mailing Boss for the first time, then how to set up a subscriber list, and how to create your first couple of emails. Those are all really important to be able to set up a subscriber list so that people can join it and you can start sending out emails. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to click share. And we're back into Cheetah, but I'm going to go up to my tabs at the top and go back to my office, my overall office. And here I'm at my dashboard, and there's Mailing Boss right there. So I don't think we've jumped into Mailing Boss yet. So this will be the first time, and I'm going to go ahead and click enter. And when I jump into Mailing Boss, it's going to ask me some questions on who are you, what's your address, all that kind of stuff. So we need to fill that information out. This is really important because this information by law goes on your emails. So I'm going to go ahead and put my first and last name. So I'm Rachel Green, and I'm going to click next. And then the name of your business. Let's say Rachel's Awesome Business. And then the website, we'll just say www.rachelgreen.com. And then default sending email address. So what this is what is the default address when you send emails out? What is that email that it's coming from going to be? So I'm going to go ahead and type in Rachel at rachelgreen.com. And let me spell Rachel right up here. There we go. And then the reply to, meaning if you send an email out to someone and they hit reply, what email shows up as the reply to email address? So normally I don't like to get reply to emails, so I put no reply at rachelgreen.com. And then I'm going to click next. And now I'm going to put in my address, and I'll just take in my personal address. Here's my street address, city, state, zip code, and then I have to choose my country, which is the United States. So let me find United States. And once I fill that information out, I'm going to click next. And now everything is ready to go as far as default information. If at any point I want to change that information, I can actually click here on the profile, and it will take me to fill out the information again, and I can change it at any point. One of the other things that you want to do if you're going to be sending out emails is go ahead and go into your profile and change that time zone setting to make sure that your emails are going out according to your time zone. So right now this is set on Sao Paulo, which is down in Brazil. So I'm going to change it to my time zone, which is America Central. So let me see if I can find it quickly. So there's America, Atlantic, Africa, This always takes me forever to choose, but we'll see if we can find it. So keep going, keep going, keep going. Europe, 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 Europe. Asia, Europe, Europe, Asia, Europe, and Asia. So we're going to pretend like I found it because there's a lot of time zones. And I'm just, there we go, Pacific. Oh, that's Pacific Saipan. So that's not even the right one. Pacific, Pacific, Fiji. Oh my gosh. So I'm going to choose one and we'll pretend like that's the right one. You also can choose your language. You can choose lead score. That's an advanced technique. But after I make changes, all I do is click Save Changes. And you want to make sure that you select your correct time zone because that's going to actually affect what time your emails go out. Okay. So now let's talk about how to go through Mailing Boss and what all these items are in Mailing Boss. So I'm going to go back to the home page in Mailing Boss. And to do that, all I do is click this little symbol right here that says Mailing Boss. And that will take me back to the home page. So let's talk about what we have available on this page. So right here, we've got a button that says Out. That means you can log out. You can also just close this window and then access it again through your Mailing Boss dashboard. Right here, we've got an information icon, and that gives you information on your account usage. So you can see how many lists you have, how many campaigns you have, how many subscribers you have in total, okay? Then we talked about the profile, so you can click here to change your profile information. Then we've got some buttons right here. The first one is subscribers. So when you want to see all of your subscribers, meaning subscribers for all the lists that you have, you can just click subscribers and it will show you all of them. Then we've got lists. This means subscriber lists. So if you want to look at all the different subscriber lists that you have, you can click lists and then go to lists. And that will show you all the lists you have, which right now we've only got a single list called email marketing. And this is the default list that everybody gets when they start an account. We're going to create a new one in just a little while. And then if you want to look at some of the tools that are available to do something with your list, then you can click Tools, and that will show you how you can sync subscribers between lists, or you can split a list, a big list, into smaller size lists. Okay, so that's what you can do in the lists area. Then we've got campaigns, and I want to look at your eyeballs to make sure you understand this easily. When we talk about emails in here, we talk about an email sequence and an email campaign. An email sequence can have one or more emails in it. So it's kind of a bucket that you put emails in. Okay, you can have one email or many emails. That's an email sequence. Then we talk about an email campaign. That is a single email. Okay, the wording between the two can get really confusing. So just always remember that an email sequence is a bucket that we put one or more emails into, and an email campaign is a single email. So an email sequence can have one email campaign in it, or an email sequence can have 200 email campaigns in it. Okay, does that make sense? Good. All right, moving on. So when we look at this inside of Mailing Boss, we can click campaigns and we can look at all of our emails. That means all the email campaigns. We can look at email sequences. That means all of the buckets that have email campaigns inside of them. Or we can look at custom tags. Custom tags is a neat way to kind of personalize emails, and that's an advanced technique. But we can look at email campaigns individually or email sequences, the buckets that have the email campaigns in them. The next one is workflow. That's what we're going to work in today. And that is a visual board that you can work with to build your email list and your email sequences and campaigns all in one screen. So that's what we're going to look at in a little bit. The next area that we have here is the menu. So over here on the left-hand side, if I click menu, I've got lists. That's exactly the same as what you get over here. I've got campaigns. That's exactly the same as what you get over here. Then I've got instant messages, and this allows you to integrate with WhatsApp so you can actually send messages out to WhatsApp. Then you've got templates. This allows you to build templates ahead of time for your emails. So you can pull in a pre-made template and then add the content into it. Or you can make your own template and pull it in and use it every time for like a newsletter. Then you've got domains. This allows you to verify a domain in Mailing Boss to be able to use with professional emails. So if you decide to connect a domain to Builderall, which would require you to upgrade your account to an paid account, but if you connect a domain to Builderall, then you can actually start creating professional emails that are associated with that domain. For example, if I own builderalldiva.com, I own that domain. I can connect it to Builderall, verify it in Mailing Boss, and now I can start creating professional emails. So I can have Shelly at builderalldiva.com, support at builderalldiva.com. So the first thing I'd have to do is verify that domain inside of Mailing Boss. With your free website account, you are not able to connect domains, so we won't go into that area. Sender emails is the emails you want to use to be able to send out emails when you do your email sequences. Because you're not connecting domains, you won't be able to connect a professional email. Automation is where you can set up some rules so that if this thing happens, then do this thing. So if they open this link, then move this subscriber from this list to this list. If they never open this email, move this subscriber from this list to this list. So there's a lot of automation that you can do in the system to automate what happens with your users on either actions they take or inactions that they decide not to do, like to never open a list, or sorry, never open an email or never click on the link. And then we've got integration. We actually have the ability to integrate with our website builder, Cheetah, and we can do things like if they land on this page, then I want you to move them to this subscriber list. So you can actually start watching what they do and sending out emails according to what they do or do not do. And then, of course, tutorials. So you can click this at any time to see some tutorials on how to one up your skills on Mailing Boss. So that's about it on the main homepage. You've got the ability to work with workflows right here. You've got the ability to add a subscriber list on the fly, add a new email campaign, which is a single email on the fly. And then once you start getting some statistics from your email list and subscribers, you'll start getting some information here that you can use to evaluate how well your subscriber lists are doing. So now we're going to go ahead and create our own subscriber list and some emails. So to do that, I'm just going to go into workflow. So I'm going to click that. And I'm going to create a brand spanking new workflow. So I'm going to call this welcome email sequence. And then I'm going to hit save so that it saves in my workflows. And now I should be able to go into this workflow area and it will list all of my workflows I've created. And then I click it and now it's active and I'm now working in that workflow. And then I'll go back to elements. And these are all the elements that I can add. So the first thing I want to add is a list. This is a subscriber list, which means if they fill out that opt-in form on my page, on my website, they get added to this list. So I'm going to click and drag the list over. And now I officially have a list that I made, but there's no name. It's not connected to anything. It's just a list kind of hanging out there. So I have to do a little bit of editing. So to do that, I'm just going to click this edit button right here. And it says select a list if you want to use an existing list or create a new one. I'm going to go ahead and create a new one. So I'm going to click create new list. And now I have to set a couple of things up. So what's the list name going to be? It's going to be Shelly's ebook list. And then on the display name, I'm going to copy the name and paste that to display name. And then description, I'm going to paste again. And now I have to choose, is it going to be a double opt-in or a single opt-in? By default, it's double opt-in. That means they have to do two things to get confirmed in your list. The first thing they do is they have to fill out the opt in form. The second thing they have to do is go check their email and click the confirm link. And that's the second thing to get them confirmed. So if they don't do those two things, they're never confirmed, which means they will never get an email from you. Okay. You can choose to do single opt in, where all they do is fill out the form and they're confirmed. But that doesn't end up in a very good list because then people can use fake emails and you'll get a list that's not very good. Also, if you use the single opt in, you have to be approved by support. So you have to tell them why you want a single opt in. And you can't use the excuse because it's way easier than double opt in. They won't approve you. So, to get a better list that has valid emails, you want to use a double opt in. For opt out, meaning how do they get off your list? How do they unsubscribe? You can choose that they do one action or two. I just keep it the default and then I click create. And now it's created that list inside of workflows and I can click OK. And it's ready to go. I have a brand spanking new list that's ready for me to add subscribers. But now I have to create the emails that I want to go out to them once they're confirmed. And to do that, I'm just going to go ahead and click the green arrow. And I've got a lot of options here, but I'm going to choose email sequence. So I'm going to create an email sequence with some email campaigns inside that email sequence. So I'm going to choose that. And it says, do you want to add an existing email sequence to this list or create a new one? Well, I don't have one that exists, so I'm going to create a new one. And so we're going to call this the Shelly's ebook sequence. And you can see that it has the Shelly's ebook subscriber list attached to it. And then I choose to send to future subscribers only. That means every time I get a new subscriber, it's going to start sending the emails that are in the sequence. And then it says, how many messages, how many email campaigns do you want in this sequence? So I'm going to put 2. And then I'm going to click create. And then I'm going to click OK. And now you'll see that I have my list. I have my email sequence with 2 separate emails in my sequence. So now I can start editing my email sequence to say exactly what I want to say to them when I send out the emails. So to do that, I'm just going to click the little edit icon. And I'm going to go to this first one where it says email information and filter tags. So I'm going to click that. It's going to take a second. There we go. And now I'm going to go ahead and make sure I put my campaign name in there. So I'm just going to call this first one the welcome email. And only I see that. The user won't see that. And then the type is either autoresponder or regular. And I'll tell you the difference between the two. An autoresponder is an automated message that sends out based on the day that they subscribed. So if I set up this email to send 2 days after they subscribe, then Donna might subscribe on Monday and she'll get this email on Wednesday. And Karen might subscribe on Wednesday, so she would get this message on Friday. So what it means is everybody's not going to be getting the same email on the same exact calendar date. They'll all get the emails, but they'll get them on different dates based on the day that they join. A regular email is an email that you want to go out on a specific date at a specific time. And on that date, at that time, it goes out to everybody on the list. Okay, that's the difference between the two. So I'm going to set this one up as an autoresponder. So it's based on the date that they subscribe. And then for the sequence, I'm going to keep that the same. For the list, I'm going to keep that the same. And then I've got some advanced features here. I'm going to skip those for now, but these are great tools that you can use to sort and sift who gets these emails. Then I'm going to hit save and next. And now it takes me into the email editor and I can start editing this first email. And to do that, I've got some tools on the right-hand side and I can click here to start editing text. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull in an image right here. And I'll pull in, let's see, a couple of blocks here like this. and then maybe some more text like this. And then I've got the semblance of what looks like a really nice designed email. So I can click on the image and then click load image to change the image, right? So I can change that to any image I want. So let's click load. And then I'll pull an image from my computer. So I'm going to graphics. Let's see if we can find a good image. Let's see. I don't know what that one is, but we'll use it. So open. There we go. Turn your million dollar idea into $1 million business. Then I would edit the text by double clicking and then putting my cursor where I want to edit. And I can type in the new text. I can use my dynamic toolbar to change around the text. And then when I'm done, I click outside of it. And then here I've got more text I can edit. I've got another image. I can click load image and choose another image from my computer. So we'll click this one right here. That's as good as any. There we go. And then down at the bottom, I can edit some more text. So you can see there's a lot of different things that you can use here, including some buttons, image beside text or text beside image, buttons with text, buttons with images, or even all three across. So you can play with those and really create a nice looking email for sure. But one of the most important things I want you to notice is right here at the bottom. It says to unsubscribe the list, please click this link. Don't touch that link. That is required by law. So you don't want to touch that one, just leave that there. It also says company full address. Remember all that information that you added into the mailing box when you first started? It's going to take all that information and pull it together and put it all at the bottom of this email. So when this email is sent out, it automatically has that email put in for you. You don't have to do it. And then another really neat feature are tags. So let's say that I wanted to put your name here. So I could say, hello, Shelly, right? But I don't know your name. I don't want to type individually for everybody. So I can actually use a feature called tag. So instead of putting the name in there, I can actually put a tag. So I'm going to put my cursor exactly where I want that tag to be. And then I'm going to scroll down to where it says available tags. And when I click on it, it's going to have a bunch of tags that I can use. And the tag that's used for the name is F name, the letter F, and then the word name. So you'll keep scrolling down until you find that tag. Let me see if we can find it. So there's email. This one may not have it in there. We'll check it and see. Yep, I don't see it. So we're just going to not tag it right now. And I'll show you the roundabout way you can go to put that tag in there. Okay. So we'll leave it hello blank. We'll call it friend right now. And hopefully we'll have time to go in there and edit that so you can see exactly how to add their name to make it personal. And the more personal you can make this, the better off it is, because if you can call them out by name in their email, that creates kind of a relationship with them where they feel connected with you. It's easier to sell them products, or it's easier to create that relationship where they'll stick with you and they'll stay on your list longer. So once you edit the email and you get it exactly the way you want it, you'll scroll down to the bottom and you'll click Save and Next. And then you're going to verify that the from name is correct. So it's coming from Rachel. The from email, and this email is going to look really strange on your free website account. That's because you cannot connect a domain, so you can't create a professional email. So it gives you a default mailing boss email for now. If you upgrade to a paid account, you can actually change that to a valid professional email. Then the reply to emails in there. Then the tag for the person's email that's getting the email is automatically put in there for you. You don't have to change that. And then you need to change the subject of the email. So I'm going to say, welcome and thank you for getting a free copy of my book. There you go. So that's the subject line. I actually love in mine to put the square brackets in there and put in capital letters from Shelly. And that's because I just like my people on my email list to know that when they see from Shelly, that's from me. So that's just a personal preference. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. But once you've verified all that information and got your subject line in there, then you click Save and Next. And now it's going to take you to the next screen where it shows you the information on what time do you want to send your email. Now remember, this is part of an autoresponder. So the first thing we have to decide is, do we want this to go after they subscribe or after they open a different email? Well, this is the this is the first email that they have being sent out. So we're going to choose after they subscribe. And then it says, when do you want it to send out after they subscribe? Do you want to send it 1 minute after they subscribe, 1 hour, 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, or 1 year? I'm going to say 0 days. That means send it out immediately. Don't wait. Don't ask for 200. Don't pass go. Just send it immediately. Okay. Then the next one is send to, and we want to send this to future subscribers, and then activate, and it will pull up the default time, and you can leave it that default time. But if you don't want these to activate until another week, you can actually put them in ahead of time and they won't activate for an entire week. But usually I leave this the default time. You can also choose to send yourself a test to take a look at what it looks like when it does send it out. Then you can verify all your settings right here. And then you've got a choice. You can click Save and Activate or Activate Later. I choose Save and Activate most of the time because once I build that email, I want it to start sending right away to any new subscribers that I have. If you choose Activate Later, it will save your settings, but it's paused, which means if you get new subscribers, it will not send the email out because the email is in pause. So I'm going to click Save and Activate, and now this email is actually activated and ready to go. But I want you to notice that it says your campaign could not be activated. There were lorem ipsum or similar text on the template content. So we'll jump back in there and change the content a little bit, and we'll activate that email. Okay. Now I'm going to go back to my workflow, and I'm going to check and see what I can do with this second email. So if I click the edit button and I go to edit information, I'm going to see exactly what I saw with the first email. And so when I go in there and start making the changes, and it will load hopefully in just a second. My poor computer is working really hard. Here we go. So this is email number 2. So I'm just going to put in front of this email. We do this right. Email number 2. It is an autoresponder. The sequence is correct. The list is correct. And so I'm going to click Save and Next. And now I can start editing this second email when it loads. So it's being a little persnickety and loading really slowly. So we'll just kind of try to be patient with it. And I'm going to go ahead and add an image there. And we'll add this right here. And then add this right here. And then add some more text on it right here. There we go. And maybe some title, a heading right here. There we go. Perfect. So now we have to change some of this wording. So I'm just going to go to, let's say, this site, and we'll grab some text from here, just like this, copy it, and paste it so we don't have to work too hard to create all of this in here for us. So copy and paste, and paste, and paste. Fabulous. And then we'll do the same thing here. So I'll copy all of this, and then go in here, triple click and paste. And then go in here, triple click and paste. Go in here, triple click and paste. All right, now I have the ability to change any of these images. I can change this button. So I can put the URL of where I want it to go and the title of the button, and I can even change the colors and the position. And so you can see we actually can do a lot with how this email actually works. Also, I want you to notice that that color is really light. So I can go in there and change the font color to a better color if I want to. Because I really, as I get older, that gets harder and harder for me to see. But the solid black font is much better. So let me change the font color so we can see it better. Fabulous. And then the last one is fabulous. So much better. So now I've created my email, and again, I scroll down to the bottom and I click save and next. And I'm going to review everything that's on the next box. So let's take a look. And it says from, it's got my from email, the reply to, who it's being sent to, which is just a tag, and then the subject. So for this one, we'll say welcome to day 2 of reading Shelley's book. Fabulous. And then of course, if I was doing this for my actual list, I would put my square brackets in there and I would put from Shelley. Here we go. And then I'd click save and next. And then I need to check this information. So it's going to be after they subscribe. And this email is going to go out 2 days after they subscribe. So if they subscribe on a Monday, this will be sent on a Wednesday. And I can choose to have their autoresponder send at the same time that they made their subscription. So if they subscribe Monday at 5 o'clock in the evening, then it will send Wednesday at 5 o'clock in the evening. Or I can actually choose to set it at a specific time to send. So I might want to set the time as a good time that they might actually see and open their email. So I might choose maybe 8 o'clock a.m. I want to send this to future subscribers and I want to activate it today. So if I get any new subscribers, then in 2 days, this will send to them if they're confirmed on my list. I can send myself a test email to make sure everything looks good. And then I'm going to click save and activate. And it says your campaign is successfully saved and will start today at this time. So you can see that when I changed that text on that email, I didn't get that error. So let's go ahead and jump into that first one. And I'm going to click edit and we'll edit all the text. I'm just going to go into email information. And I'm going to click next so I can start editing the email. And I'll say change all that text that we have into what we use for the other one so that we don't get that error anymore. So I'm going to change the font, change the text. There we go. And change the color of the font because I can't stand it to be a light gray. And then change the text and change the font. There we go. So now we've changed all that text. I can go back in and click save and next. And then I can go in and verify everything is correct and next. Verify everything is correct here and click save and activate. And now it should activate that email. And I want you to notice on both of these, it says the title of the email and it says it will send in 0 days, which it will send immediately. And it is active, meaning if somebody joins the subscriber list right now and confirms, this email will send out to them immediately because it's active. And then this email, the same thing. I've got the title of the email and I've got that it's goes out in 2 days and it is an active email. So this is actually ready to go. So now what I need to do is show you how we can put that that tag in there for the email. So to do that, I'm going to have to go back to my subscriber list. So I'm going to click on lists and I'm going to look at all of my lists. And you'll see that I've got that new Shelley's ebook right there. And to take a good look at it, I'm going to click the overview button on the card. And that takes me to the overview of everything I can do with my subscriber list, not the emails. This is just the subscriber list. And in the subscriber list, I've got fields. That is the information that I want for my subscribers. So if I click that, I can see that I'm only asking for one piece of information, which is the email. By default, when you create a new subscriber list in the workflow area, it will only have the email field available. So if you want to get more information from them, you're going to have to put it in here. So I want to get their first name. So I'm going to click add text field and it added it to the bottom here. And I'm going to add it to the top, sorry. And I'm going to call it first, or I'm just going to call it first name. Perfect. And then on the tag, I'm going to call it F name. And is this required? I'm going to say yes. Is it visible? I'm going to say yes. And then the next most important thing, because this drives me nuts, is I want the first name to be the first field that they fill out. So on the sort order, I'm going to choose 1. And then the email, I want to be the second field. So on the sort order for that one, I'm going to put 2. That way they appear in the right order. And once I've done that, I'm going to go ahead and click Save Changes. And now I have 2 pieces of information that I'm collecting. And I can also add the first name tag into the emails. My 2 emails that I have, and I'm going to, it will actually say, hello, F name, and it will call them out by name. So let's see how we can edit that. So here's my 2 emails, and I'm going to click the edit button for the first one and go into email information. And I want you to notice that this comes up with a completely different screen. Now, this email is active. That means if you try to edit it, it's going to be a problem because it's actively sending out, it's looking for subscribers to send out. So you have to pause the email. So there's a little button right here that says pause sending an update. So I'm going to click that so it will pause the email for a moment so I can make some changes. So everything here stays the same. So I'll click save and next. And then here's my email. Remember we said hello friend? I'm going to take the word friend out and just delete it and put my cursor exactly where I want that name to go. And then I'm going to scroll down to where I have the available tags. And I'm going to click there and I'm going to keep scrolling until I find F name. So scroll, scroll, scroll. There it is right there. So I'm going to click on F name. And what that did is it added F name into my email. So now I'm going to be able to call them by name. So when I get an email from myself, it will say, hello, Shelly. That makes a huge difference than just saying, hello, friend, or even just hello. Hello, Shelly creates a relationship. So I'm going to scroll down now to the end and click Save and Next. And then everything stays the same here. So Save and Next. And I need to verify everything here and then save and activate. So I've changed the first email to add the tag. And now I can go to the second email, go to email information. And again, I get all of the data on that email because I have to pause it. So I'm going to click pause. And then everything here stays the same. So I'll click save and next. And then right here, I can add where I'm going to say hello. So hello. There we go. And put my cursor exactly where I want the person's name to be. And then I'll scroll down to the bottom to available tags and scroll down to find F name. And I'm going to select it. And now that should be in there. So there's F name. And then scroll down and click save and next. Verify everything's correct and then click save and next. And then verify everything's correct and click save and activate. And now both of these emails are ready to go and we personalize them. So it's really, really cool what we've been able to do. So all of our subscriber list is set up. We have the 2 fields that we want to collect for information, and we have 2 emails that are set up and ready to send. What we don't have right now is the connection between the website and Mailing Boss, right? So before we jump in and set that up, I want to stop a minute and look at your faces and see if you have any questions on what we've done so far. Nope. Great. So let's hop into the website and actually connect our website to Mailing Boss so that when we get somebody to fill out that form, it's actually going to send their information into our subscriber list and it will start triggering those emails. So let's go ahead and share our screen. And we're done working with the workflows right now. So I'm going to go back into Cheetah. So I kept those open right here. And I think I've got the first page open right here. So there it is. So I'm going to start editing this opt-in form because now we're ready to start editing. So I'm going to click on the opt-in form, and it says this is a contact form. We have two different types of forms inside of Cheetah. We have contact forms and we have the email marketing forms. Both of them are used for very different reasons. The contact form is used if you want to capture information and then send that information to an email address. Or you can connect to Zapier and do some really cool things with that information in Zapier. But it's not really designed. You can trick it into connecting to Mailing Boss, but it's not really designed to connect to Mailing Boss. So the contact form has a much different use. So I'm going to actually remove the contact form and we're going to put in the email marketing form. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the form and hit delete, and that's fine. And now I'm going to go to add element, and I'm going to scroll down to where it says email marketing form right here. And when I do, I've got several different designs for email marketing forms. I'm just going to click any one of them because they can be configured and drag it over and drop it onto that box. And now I've actually got a new email marketing form in there. And it says, okay, which list do you want it to connect it to in Mailing Boss? And we want it to connect to the Shelly's ebook list. So I'll click that and then click save. And now it's connected to that list. And let me see if it's hiding behind this box. So I'm going to take that list and drag it over and drop it on top of the box. There we go. And then I'll move the box back over just like this. And now we've got some room to edit that opt-in form to make it look exactly like we want it to look. So I'm going to make it a little bit bigger, a little bit wider like that. And I'm going to start changing the size of things. So on the height, I can make, that's the box. Let me do the form. There we go, Mailing Boss form. So I can change the width of the box, the height of the box like this. I can go to field style. Those are the fields right there. And I can change the size of the text that's in that field. So I'll make that a little bit bigger. And instead of black, I want to make it maybe a little bit of gray. So I'll change the color of the text to a gray so it's not quite so loud. And then maybe on the height of the field, I can make that field a little bit taller, just like that, so it starts to fit in that space. And then there's a border around the field, so I can make that a little bit thicker if I want to. I can change the color of that border around the field if I want to. I can round those borders if I want to. So I can make it maybe a 5. And you'll see that those fields are now rounded just a little bit, not a lot, just a little bit. So those are the fields. Then I can do the background of this opt-in form. So there's the background. So I can set the background color of the button, and this is where I want it to match this blue. So I'm gonna click on that button. Oops, sorry, click on that color. And I'm going to choose that blue so it matches my website. That's beautiful. And then the hover background color of the button, if I click on that, I can choose that same blue, but then change the color to a little bit darker so that when they do hover over the button, it's obvious that they're hovering. So that's really nice. And then the color of the text hover. So on that text, the text is white normally. So I'll keep the text hover color white. Then I can do a border on the button. So I don't want a border, that I don't like that. But then a rounded border. So let's see if we can round it a little bit. So maybe 10, 10, 10, 10. There we go. So I love the rounded borders. Actually, that's not enough for me. So 15, 15, 15, 15. I like that better. And now I can change the headline on the button. So if I click here, I can change it to register for a free copy. There we go. And then I can change the font style. So I can make it a little bit bigger if I want to, a little bit smaller. I can change the color. I can change the the font type. I can even put an icon in there. So if I show the icon list, I can choose an arrow. So I'll do a search for an arrow. And when it pulls up the arrow, I can choose from many different styles of arrows that it shows. So we'll wait for those to show up. And I'll choose that one and select. So now you can see that put a little arrow in there. And I need to make a little bit of a space between the arrow and the text. So there we go. And I also want to make that button a little bit wider. So let's see if we can find the button for wider. So size, button height, button width. Let's make it like 100%. That means it goes all the way across the width of the opt-in form. Okay. I can also change the height. So let's change the height of the button just a little bit, just like that. And so now it's starting to fit into that space that I have available for my opt-in form. I've made a bunch of changes, so I need to click save. And then that's fine. Because remember, save as your friend. There we go. And now we've done a lot to this particular page. So I'm going to go back into Cheetah and say I'm satisfied. And the next thing I need to do is connect the pages. So what happens after I fill out this form? Where do I want them to go? So when I click on the form, there's some items on the mini toolbar. And the first one is set list. We've already done that. We said we wanted to go into Shelly's email or Shelly's ebook. So the next one I want to work with is set link. Where do I want them to go after they fill out the form? So when I click that, it gives me a couple options. It says subscription pending, subscribe confirm, and unsubscribe confirm. So subscription pending means they haven't confirmed yet. So where do you want them to go? We want them to go to that email confirmation page where they get instructions on what they need to do. So I'm going to click no action and I'm going to choose page and I'm going to choose that email confirmation page and I'm going to have it open in the same tab and I'm going to click save. And then for the subscribe confirmed, which means once they check their email and they click the confirm link in their email, where do we want them to go? And that would be the thank you page. So I'm going to click no action and I'm going to choose page and then I'll click thank you and download page. And then I can choose to, let's say we'll open in a new tab and then I'm going to click save. And then if I wanted to set up a page so if they unsubscribe, I could say, gosh, we hate to see you go. If there's been a mistake, here's how you can subscribe again. But if not, we wish you the best. You could create a page like that. And then where it says no action, connect that page there. So if they click unsubscribe, they would end up going to that page. We're not going to set that up today, but we'll click save. So what we've done is we've set up our email confirmation page and we've set up our thank you page and I'm going to hit save. And now we've actually done the final thing to connect everything, our website to Mailing Boss. So I'm going to click save and then that's fine. And now everything is published, everything is ready to go, and I can actually start testing. So let me go back to Cheetah and let's talk about everything that we've set up. So I set up my home page, which is where they fill out the opt-in form. Once they fill out the opt-in form, they're going to get taken to the email confirmation page where they're going to be told, check your email. They're going to go check their email and click the confirm link. When they do, they're going to be sent to the thank you page. And that's where they can actually download their ebook. So now let's talk about how do we get people to actually go to the website and actually do this? Well, the first thing we need to do is we need to make sure that this website is available on the internet. So to do that, all I'm going to do is click publish and OK. And now this entire website is ready to go. And now I can give them the link by just going here where it says go to website. And that goes to my live website starting with the home page. So if I click go to website, it actually opens up the page. So this is exactly what the page looks like. And then I can click up here and get this URL. And that's the URL I'm going to give to the people that I want to go fill out this form. Okay. I want you to notice a couple things. With you being on the free account, you're going to have a little bar right here that says this website was developed by Cheetah. Build your website today, and they can click this and actually join Builderall. The next thing is this web page is actually just a little bit short. It doesn't take up the whole page. So I could choose to make the panels just a little bit bigger so that it would take up more space on the page and not have this empty white space at the bottom. Okay. So now let's pretend like we're a real person and we decided that we want to sign up and get Shelly's amazing book. So what I'm going to do is fill out my first name. So I'm going to say Shelly. And my email is Shelly at builderalldiva.com. And now once I've filled that out, I can click register for a free copy. And that should take me to the email confirmation page so that I can get instructions on what I need to do next. So there we go. It says almost there. Check your email and confirm your access to the ebook. So I'm going to go ahead and go into my Builder All Diva email. So I'm going to go to here. And this is my email. So all I'm going to do right now is just wait for that email to come in so I can confirm. So I'll be refreshing and refreshing a few times because even though we said send it out immediately, let me explain to you this kind of idea while we're waiting for the email to come in. We said when they subscribe to this list, send the email out immediately. But what happens is Mailing Boss operates with a bunch of emails. We send out millions and millions of emails a day. So your email that's going to send out for their confirmation goes into a Mailing Boss queue. And we have a bunch of different servers, so we have a bunch of different queues. So whichever server it hits and however long the queue is, it might take a minute, it might take 5 minutes. Sometimes I've seen it take up to 10 minutes. So even though we know that it's sent out immediately, it depends on the queue that it hits as to how fast it's actually sent out. Okay, so let's jump in there and see if we got it sent out yet. So I'm going to click refresh and Shazam. So it says Rachel Green, confirm your subscription. So I'm going to click that. And here's the list where I click the confirm button. So I'm going to click confirm. When I click it, it should take me to that third page, which is the thank you page. So I'm going to click that button. And there it is. It says, congratulations, download your ebook now. And here's the button. If I click that button, it's going to open up that PDF document so that I can save it or I can just read it online if I want to. So how amazing is that, you guys, that we have the ability to create that simple of a website really, really quickly. And you can start developing and building your email list as you are getting these leads. So now let's take a look, and we're going to jump into Mailing Boss. And we're going to take a look at, did this subscriber come in and are they listed as confirmed? So if I go into Mailing Boss, we're going to go into the, I'm going to save first, save this workflow. And then I'm going to go to the Mailing Boss homepage and we'll go to lists and then lists again. So there's my ebook list. And amazingly, I have one subscriber. And if I go into where it says subscribers, I should be able to see that Shelly, which is Shelly at builderalldiva.com, is confirmed. Now, if I had not checked my email and clicked the confirm link, they would be not in the status of confirmed, which means they would not be able to get any of my emails that I want to send out from my email sequence. Okay, so they have to be in confirmed status. So that means that you won't have emails trying to send out to junk emails. They do have to check their email and confirm it. So the next thing that should be happening is I can check my email again and I should have that first welcome email because it's supposed to send out immediately. So let me check my email and I'm going to click refresh. And there's the first email. And when I click it, you'll remember that this is the email that we created. And I have external images blocked. So if I click that, it will actually show the images. And you also see that it says, hello, Shelly. So it actually calls me out by name based on that F name tag. It also has an unsubscribe link, and it has my business information listed at the bottom of the email. This area is required by law. So you want to make sure when you're editing your emails that you don't change that information at all. Okay? So let me stop sharing for a second and you guys ask me questions. Do you have any questions about what we did today? Setting up the website, setting up the email marketing system, and then connecting the two. Wait, don't everybody jump at once.
I don't have any questions, Shelly. I just wanted to say thank you. I've watched your videos on Builderall for 2 years now, and Builderall has never been the primary driving force in my business, but the tools and resources help me in a lot of other ways.
Great.
But this giving away free websites thing has now reinvigorated my fire for building Builderall as an affiliate. I've already given away probably 30 websites in the last 24 hours, and I got a private Facebook group where I'm actually training those guys and kind of what you're doing right now. But I couldn't figure out how to get to Mailing Boss from the free site. And now I realize you just go to Builderall and just log in as the free person. And I don't know why I didn't think about that. But yeah, I'm excited about all of the possibilities that exist. And you've been crushing all of the training, and you helped me build a dozen websites as I've been watching your training. So this is the first time I've gotten on live with you and watch you train live. So I'm excited. Thanks, Tom.
Yay, yay. I'm so glad that you're here, and I'm so glad that it helped you kind of, see the big picture of how to do it. And I'm also really excited for you giving away those free websites, because here's the thing, like Eric says all the time, here's the thing. Um, to me, it's fabulous because you don't feel like you're being salesy. Um, I am not a salesperson. I've said this before, and I'll say it again because I can. I could not sell a coat to an Eskimo, and they need coats. But I can give away websites all day long, right? There is no salesy stuff in that. It's like, hey, you want a website? I actually feel like Oprah, right? It's like, you want a website? You get a website, you get a website, you get a website, everybody gets a website, right? And out of those people that get websites, there are going to be some that see it just like you did. And they're going to see, oh my gosh, not only do I get a free website, but I saw some training where there's some incredible tools that I can use as well. So I'm going to upgrade because I want those tools too. And when they upgrade, that person that you gave a free website to is now in a paid plan, and you get a recurring commission. So no salesy stuff, no smarmy stuff, no yucky feeling. It really is about you just handing out these free websites, and then they get to choose if they want to upgrade or not, right?
Yeah, and then in my welcome video in my group, I said, hey, this group is broken up into three main units. Unit one is how to customize your website for your business. Unit two, how to use websites and sales funnels to grow your business. And unit three, how to make money giving away websites in the event that you wanted to become an affiliate. So I just kind of dropped that teaser that that's an option in my welcome video, and I've already had one person say, "Yeah, I wanted to become an affiliate because they're coaching clients, coaching entrepreneurs. Yes, I would like to add value to my coaching practice by being able to offer free websites. So yes, I want to become an affiliate. So yeah, I'm excited.
That's so great. I love this model, and the ability to give a website maybe to a person that is having a wedding coming up so they can build their own wedding site, and they may never use it for anything else but that wedding site, but that works for them. And then the dog groomer that says, I need a website. I see this great template out there, so I'm going to use that. And then they start playing with it, and they're like, wait a minute, I can do a lot more with Builderall. I'm going to upgrade. So you've got everything in between that you can offer them. So it's absolutely amazing. And then when you throw in that Cheetah, the website builder is constantly adding in new features, tremendously awesome features. You're going to have a tool that is not only valuable to you, but definitely could be valuable to somebody else if you just hand it over to them and share it with them. Cindy, go ahead.
Yeah, so this is going way back because I wrote this one down and never asked, was
Okay.
when you were on the website, and I've used the buttons to do like call now or text now, one of my clients, and of course it works great on mobile.
Mhm.
Is there a way to use it on mobile but change it on the desktop?
Yes. Remember that show hide?
Yeah,
Hide it on mobile.
you mean hide it on desktop?
No, well, if you don't want the mobile dial, you want to, yeah, hide it on desktop. Sorry, I'm
Okay.
losing my mind. I was so
And
excited I was going to give you the
replace it
answer
with
that,
something else. Yeah, and then just replace it with something else.
or not replace it. You don't even have to have that particular feature at all if you don't want to have
Okay.
it. Okay.
I think that was my only question, but just thank you, Shelley. I know a lot of time went into it. I'm looking forward to the bonus time tomorrow, but you did a
Actually, we'll
great
have
job.
bonus time tonight and this afternoon in just a little bit. But I do want to go over another big thing, and that is the mobile. To make sure that we all know how to edit that mobile, because that is like the sticking point, right? A lot of people are like, the mobile, the mobile, the mobile. Oh my gosh, the mobile. So let's jump in there and play with the mobile and see what we can do with it to make sure that it's mobile ready. Okay, Shawana?
I just have one question.
Okay,
I think I understand it, but I'm not sure. When
okay.
we were doing the website page and you took out the information that was there already for the buttons, the email and the name, and then you went on the side panel and you changed it to
Mhm,
put the links, why
mhm.
couldn't we use the ones that were already on the page?
There are two types of forms that we have. We have a contact form and we have an email marketing form. When
Can
we
you did
looked at
explain
it, it
that?
was a contact form. And a contact form we use to be able to do something a little bit different. We can make it connect to Mailing Boss, but it's not easy. So for the contact form, I removed it. And I chose the email marketing form because that is specifically designed to connect to Mailing Boss and it's really easy to use. Okay? Does that make sense? Okay, good. So let's jump in and play with the mobile for just a couple more minutes. And that's probably the last big thing that we'll look at in the regular training. And then if you want to stay, I want to show you some neat things you can do to actually tool to make money even on the free account. So let's jump into mobile. So I'm going to share my screen and we'll go into Cheetah and we'll work with that first page right here. That's a fabulous one. So I'm going to click save just because I can, and I haven't done it in a few minutes, and save as my friend. And now I've got the option to start editing the tablet version and the mobile version. So I'm going to jump into mobile first and take a look at what it's looking like in mobile. And most of the time it does pretty well. You can see that it did some really funky stuff with my image. And it's definitely out of order, right? So I'm going to change the order a little bit. So I'm going to maybe put this one at the top. So I click on Shelley's Amazing Book and I'll click it to move it up and then click it again to move it up and then Get This Book Today. We're going to move that up. So maybe put that up there. And then I think this one maybe can go down and then maybe down again. There we go. And then this box with my little cartoon image in it, that can go down. I'm not sure I'm going to keep it, but we'll put it down for right now. And then there's my opt-in form that actually rendered beautifully. I love it. So we've got the header up here that looks fine, and the footer down here that looks fine. And if I want to change some of this text size, so maybe I want to change Shelley's Amazing Book to be a little bit different, I can actually start changing by pulling out some of this blank space that's here, or I can go maximum width, so change that a little bit. So there's a few things that I can do to start changing the look and feel of text. And then for like this one right here, you can see that I can change some of the spacing on that one as well. So make it a little bit smaller, make it a little bit bigger, move it around a little bit. And then for images, these are the tricky ones. So if I click on the image, that's way too big, but I can manipulate some of that spacing. And if you'll notice, when I do that spacing, it makes it a lot smaller. So I could actually either decide to make it smaller and that works for me, or I can click that box that it's in. Let me click out of there if it will let me. And my computer's like, no, you worked me too hard. So we'll keep trying. Let's see. Maybe click up here. There we go. And click the box. And what we can do is we can actually hide that. So if I click in there and click hide element and hide element, it actually can remove it from the phone version. And then if I go back to desktop, you should see that it's still on my desktop version, but it's not going to appear on my mobile. So then I can click save. And that's fine. And so usually that's all I have to do is manipulate that a little bit as far as the order. And then very seldom do I have to do a whole lot with the text. Now the text itself, if I go back to my desktop and I take a look at this text, if I click inside of it, this is a heading 2. So where I have to change the size of that is actually in the page settings under fonts. So we have the ability to change any of those defined fonts. We can change the desktop size and the mobile. So let's go back to mobile. And let's say that I want to change the size of that font because I don't like the size of it. So we'll change this one. And if I go up here to page and then fonts, it is, I think it was a H2. So let's go to H2 right here. And on H2, it says size on mobile, and I can make it a little bit bigger. Oh, that's a H2 right there. So I can make it just a little bit bigger. So we go back to page and fonts, and we'll make it a little bit bigger on mobile. Here we go. And you can see how it's changing the sizes. So we go back to text and fonts. And so this one's an H1 and this one's an H2. So that's how I can change the sizes if it's a defined text. I can go into the page and then the fonts area. I can also change it if I change this font, instead of being an H2, I change it to neutral. If I change the font to neutral, I can then change it on this settings screen in the mobile view. So there's a couple different ways to change it. So if it's just one of the regular defined fonts, as in heading 1, heading 2, heading 3, that means you go into the page area into fonts. If it's a neutral font, neutral paragraph, then you can actually change the size on the fly right where it's at, and you can change it on the side panel without having to go into the page settings. So let's kind of see how that works. Let me add some text. I'm going to go to add and elements and text, and we'll add, let's say this right here. Okay, so we've got some text in there, and I'm going to make it white so we can see it. And then instead of heading 4, I'm going to change it to a neutral paragraph. Okay, so it's that size right now. I can change the size, I can change the font, all in these general settings. But I want you to notice that now under general settings, I have size on mobile. So if I go into the mobile, instead of having to go into the page and then fonts, I can actually change it on the fly because it's neutral. I can change it on the fly right here. Okay, so that is probably the source of most people's confusion, is if it's a defined text, as in header 1, header 2, header 3, you're going to change it in the page area under fonts. If it's a neutral, then you actually have the size on mobile available in general settings. Okay, so did that help?
It did, Shelley. I have a question though, because earlier I remember you saying the H's, the headings are good for SEO.
They are. That's right. So you want to make sure that you have at least one H1 on every single page, because that's good for SEO, which means you define what you want the size and color and font style of your H1. And then if you have issues with it on mobile, you change it in the page and font area. Okay. And then you also want to make sure that in a couple of areas of your page, you have some H2s to H4s. It doesn't have to be a lot, but a few with your keywords. So if you're looking for some SEO juice, then you want to make sure that you put those keywords as an H2, an H3, or an H4, which means then if you go into mobile and it's not sized right, you go into page and font to resize. Okay?
Okay.
Does that help?
It does. And then the other thing I question for you is there's no save when you're in mobile. You always have to go back, right? Okay.
Yeah, they did that intentionally. You do have to bounce back into desktop and save. It's the same way in tablet. You can go in there and make some move up and down things and change the padding for images to make them bigger or smaller. But after you make those changes, you want to make sure you jump back into desktop and click save. And the way I do it to make sure that everything sticks or saves like it's supposed to is I make changes to one panel and then bounce into desktop and save. And then I bounce back in, work with the next panel, make all my changes I want to, and then bounce into desktop and save. And I have the most luck doing it that way. Okay. Okay. Any other questions about mobile, you guys? I have to admit that mobile is a dream for me. I have made many, many websites now with Cheetah, and compared to how difficult it was in Pixel Perfect, the mobile in Cheetah is like, oh, it's ready. So it's really, really lovely. And once you figure out how to handle the fonts and how to handle images and how to resize images, and then the best part is if you just can't get it to work for you, you can take it out. So any of those ways you can start to manipulate what your mobile looks like. And you can have things on mobile that are not on desktop and on desktop that are not on mobile by using that show hide feature. Okay. All right. So, oh my gosh, we're straight up 4 o'clock. So I did fabulous sticking to the time today. I'm so proud of myself. I'm going to give myself a gold star sticker right there. But what I want to do now is if you don't want to stay and see how to monetize, you can absolutely jump out. I'm going to stop the recording. So let me stop the recording here. So stopping. All right. So if you want to jump out, you can jump out. If you'd like to stay, please feel welcome to stay. Either one will not hurt my feelings for sure. But what I'm going to do is spend about 30 minutes talking with you and showing some things to you that you can do to actually figure out how to monetize by just using the free website plan. Okay, this is not going into any advanced features, any additional